Back with the action in just a minute over the Hawkeye Sports Network. Hi again, everybody. Gene Clausen with former Hawkeye quarterback Mike Seelig as Iowa's Hawkeyes getting ready to play their final regular season game here in Kinnick Stadium. 19 graduating seniors and some great offensive players in there as the Hawkeyes will be receiving the opening kickoff. Chip Lohmiller kicking off. It's high with the wind, and Stewart taking it at the 2-yard line for the Hawkeyes. Run back, he's smothered down at about the 25-yard line. The Hawkeyes 1st and 10. It'll be Chuck Hartlieb quarterbacking. What a story he's been this year. Hudson and Harmon will be in at running backs. 19 Iowa seniors playing their final home game. And, of course, the Hawkeyes in bowl action out at San Diego for the 2nd consecutive year. Marshall Cotton, a senior. Quinn Early, a senior. Mike Flagg, Craig Clark, Herb Wester, among the other offensive linemen who will be playing before the home fans for the final time as the Hawkeyes break huddle. It's been a great series. The Hawkeyes have won 4 of the last 5. Great running play. Breaking to the outside and just grabbing the shirt of Harmon. Gary Had, the defensive left tackle. Harmon last week with 151 yards, his peak for the season against Ohio State. Marv Cook, of course, along with Travis Watkins, Quinn Early, the wide receivers. Hartlieb, Harmon, and Hudson. The 3 H's in there. David Alexander, along with Herb Wester at the tackles, Schmidt, Anderson, and Poynton at the guards. The drop by Hartlieb on a 2nd and long. Pass a little bit overthrown to Marv Cook, or was it Mike Flagg? Flagg it was. Time that time for Hartlieb to throw, but it was just a little bit high.
It was a little high, Gene, and maybe thrown just a little bit soon, but the important thing is that it's open now, and we know that, and we'll be going back to it.
Getz and Bonner, Had and Ockelberg at the tackles, Doug Mueller at center, Stevens and Leverance at the linebacking positions. Leverance from Ankeny, Iowa, and he is the leading tackler for this Minnesota team. 3rd and long. Hudson the lone setback. Obvious passing situation. Hartlieb has to scramble. He's not going to get it away. The ball is popped loose. Minnesota has it inside the Iowa 20. Leverance getting the ball to the Hawkeyes. Unable to move. Coming up with a 3rd and long. Hartlieb looking into the sun. Who knows? That may have been a factor, Mike.
Well, he was trying to go deep here, Gene. He gets pretty good pressure. You see it coming from the outside, so he steps up in the pocket like he should, and then he realizes it's covered and he can't throw the ball, and then it's just knocked out of his hands as he's taken down by 3 of the Gophers. And unfortunate situation because they have excellent position with the ball now inside our 20.
Minnesota can score. Their problems, among others, have been unable to do much on 3rd down situations, either offensively or defensively. Foggy at quarterback. And off to Thompson, their tough fullback, and as has been the case all season long, the Hawks have done a good job on the premier running backs in the Big Ten. Kepi made first contact.
Well, Gene, he is one of the premier running backs. He's had very good success against most teams that he plays, and if we can hold him and Foggy down, then as you see their lineups there, he and Foggy are the main part of their offense. If we can stop those 2 players, we'll have the best of it, I think.
Craig Otto not playing today. He was injured on a touchdown reception last week. 2nd and 9, Minnesota on the Iowa 19. 2 wide receivers and I-backs. Thompson behind Evans. Then Foggy passes, tries to pass, doesn't get it away. He's sacked by Mike Burke. The big defensive right end from Davenport, former quarterback, and it's a 3-yard loss.
Well, Mike Burke's turned into a very good defensive end. You'll see here he should have thrown it right there, but apparently he saw something that we didn't, and as a result of that, he gave Mike Burke time to come in and make the sack, and big play for the Hawkeyes.
Burke replaced by a 5th defensive back, Torque Hook of Corden. So the nickel defense with a 3rd and 4 now facing Minnesota on the Iowa 22. Again, I-backs, slots to the left side as Foggy rolls out on a run pass. He's going to try to run, goes to his right, still on his feet, and they drop him at the 15-yard line. Obviously, receivers were covered, and Brad Quast trailed him to the far side of the field. It'll be 4th and about 6 on the Iowa 15, and the field goal team comes out.
Well, that's where Ricky Foggy's most dangerous, is when he has time to set back there and then scramble. He's an excellent scrambler. Unfortunately, the Iowa defense just held its position, and Brad Quast got him down after about a 6 or 7 yard gain.
Chip Lohmiller, their all-time leading scorer. He is 14 of 17 for the season. It'll be a 32-yard attempt from the right hash mark. Wind behind Lohmiller. It's a shot, and it's good. Minnesota on top in the first 3 minutes of the ball game. 3-0. Hawkeye football continues after these local messages on the Hawkeye Sports Network.
Come drive a Mazda.
The all-new Mazda MX-6 GT, a high-performance luxury sports coupe with a turbocharged, fuel-injected 145-horsepower engine. One of the roomiest, quietest interiors in its class, and a price over $2,000 less than Honda Prelude SI. MX-6 GT. Drive it away.
Come drive a Mazda.
Get a great Mazda deal today at Carousel Mazda, Friedley Mazda, and Bruce McGrath Mazda.
Christmas shopping time is here.
Jets, only Jets will do. La 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 la, la la la.
The kids are full of Christmas cheer.
Jets, only Jets will do.
They don't want Santa Claus to miss a single person on my list.
Jets, only Jets will do.
My Christmas shopping is all through, and checking out is faster too.
Jets, only Jets will do.
Chip Lohmiller's kickoff into and out of the end zone, so the Hawkeyes take over in their second series at the Iowa 20. Fumble the ball away just inside the 20 in their first attempt to get something moving, and the Gophers pick up 3. Hartlieb, a drop. It's behind the line. It goes to the big tight end, Marv Cook. And Marv Cook down the far sidelines and out of bounds after getting a first down for the Hawkeyes. What a game he had last week, and he's picking up where he left off at Columbus, Mike.
Gene, it looked like they were playing a man-to-man defense on Marv Cook that time, but once he got the ball, he got around the receiver. You see, he had 9 receptions for 159 yards last week and one great big touchdown at the end of the game, but they're going to be covering him very well today, I'm sure.
Cook has broken Jim Gibbons' old record of receptions for a tight end for the season. He has 39. Jim Gibbons in 57 had a total of 36. The Hawkeyes with a first down, and the flip back to Harmon. Spins at right tackle beyond the 35, and Kevin, good first down yardage, stopped at about the 37-yard line by Doug Bueller, the nose guard, and John Leverance, one of the inside linebackers, and it's a gain up to the 37.
Kevin, again, is healthy after last week's game with over 150 yards. Had an excellent game last week in some crucial situations. A kickoff, he returned one at the end of the game for 35 yards, and he's healthy again. It's good to see that.
Slots left. Early and Watkins, lone receiver to the near side, but it's a running play, and Hudson is stopped. No gain. Penetration by the middle of the Minnesota defensive line, and it'll bring up a 3rd and a long 6 for the Hawkeyes. Iowa 2nd in Big Ten rushing defense, 3rd total defense in the conference, 1st in passing, total offense, and scoring. And Minnesota's team stats, they're 2nd in rushing, scoring, and total offense. 3rd down play, and a big one coming up here. 2nd offensive series for the Hawkeyes, who trail 3-0. Same offensive set. Slots to the left side at a long count. Protection for Hartley. Near side, it's complete. Early, who did not get a pass last week. On this one, he gets a Hawkeye first down to the 45. Charles McCree, the left quarterback, with the stop.
Well, that time we just crossed our receivers. I think they were looking for us to go to the tight end, and Quinn Early comes across the field and catches the ball just enough for a first down, and it's nice to see him get a reception after being shut out last week.
A relatively young secondary for Minnesota with only one senior back there. And that's David Williams from Waukesha, Wisconsin. The right corner is a freshman, Frank Johnson. I-backs return. Hudson and Harmon for the Hawkeyes with first down coming up. The fake. It's a screen. Harmon behind the line, and again doped out by the Minnesota defense, and it was Gary Hadd. A loss on the play, back to just inside the 40-yard line.
Well, their defense really played it just perfectly that time. We ran a little swing pass to the right to Harmon, and was waiting for the ball to be caught and then made the tackle on Kevin.
Minnesota not noted for its defense this year. Everybody scored on them, including Northern Iowa when the opening got to 7. And the big crunch was 42-9 Ohio State. Hawkeyes second and about 6 inside the Iowa 40. And again it goes to Harmon. Finds a hole, gets to the outside and dives forward. Picks up some of the lost yardage, a couple of more, and it'll be a 3rd and 8 for the Hawkeyes. Still inside the Iowa 50-yard line.
Well, that was a typical run by Kevin. You see him running off the field. 3rd down now and long, and here again it's another 3rd down situation, which is crucial that we make the 1st down yardage here and maintain possession of the ball.
Kevin coming off, kind of holding his arm sort of dangling out there as though it was he was injured, but he's okay. Nothing wrong. Hawkeyes obviously passing set with a blocker back, and the rush is on, and Hartlieb can't get it away. It was Brian Bonner coming from the outside. The blitz on that time. Nobody touched Bonner, and the Hawkeyes face a 4th and a 20+.
Well, they know we're going to throw the ball, and as a result of that, they're going to blitz us, and you'll see the pressure come right there from the outside. Chuck really can't do anything with the ball. Eats it for a loss, and now you'll see Marv Kick about ready to punt.
Chris Gator's back. It's kicked into the wind and held up by the wind. Bounces at the Minnesota 40 and down to 41. So Minnesota holding the Hawks on their first 2 offensive series and lead 3-0, 8:14 to go first quarter. Minnesota with a 1st down on the Gopher 41-yard line. Ricky Foggy. He has run the ball 101 times. Gives it to Thompson. Thompson a hole at right tackle. Busts right up to midfield. Hit by Puck. Thompson for the year, 210 carries, a 5.6 average, his longest gainer 98, and that, would you believe, against Michigan.
Well, he's a good athlete, big, strong running back, one of the best in the Big Ten, and we're going to have to just keep stopping him. And that time he got 9 yards on 1st down, which really opens up their play selection now on 2nd and short.
6'1", a 205-pound sophomore from Rochester, Minnesota. He's the number 3 rusher in the Big Ten. Short yardage right at midfield. Fullback carrying, that's Evans. Short yardage, but enough for the 1st down. Evans from Orlando, Florida. One of 6 Floridians on the Gopher 2 deep. And they've recruited 4 more. So they have 10 from Florida, mainly Orlando and Miami, on the squad. Joe Mott, Mike Burke, of course, 2 solid ends. Kepi, Schuster, and Haid in the middle. Puck and Quast, the linebackers. Good, solid defensive lineup for the Hawkeyes. Minnesota with a 1st and 10 on the Iowa 47-yard line. First quarter, midway. Gophers lead 3-0. Blanker in motion. The pitch back to Thompson. Thompson, hard hit at the 44-yard line. They just throw the ball back, and the big guy with the big head of steam just takes a crack at the Iowa defensive right end. Mott not bending very much, and the ball is spotted at the 44.
Well, they're obviously want to maintain the ball and keep it away from our offensive unit that's been so explosive in the recent weeks, and a good way to do that is get 3 or 4 or 5 yards of crack, which is what they're doing right now.
Iowa's defense done very, very well against the leading rushers in the Big Ten. Thompson of Indiana, Lorenzo White. Minnesota 2nd and 6. They send Bruce in motion. The little fake Foggy on the option, keeping, pitching, and Thompson dropped at the 41-yard line. A high hit behind the line, but he shook that one off, got a few yards, and it'll bring up 3rd and about 4, a short 4. A little bit out of the range, although Lohmiller has kicked a 68-yarder, but they're going to try to get the 1st down here, Mike.
Well, I'm sure they will, and it's short down here, but I think you're right. Lohmiller's leg is very strong, and another few yards, and they're probably within his range of kicking another field goal.
First key 3rd down play for Minnesota here in the first quarter, with the Gophers leading 3-0. A pro set behind Foggy, who makes the drop, is getting a rush. They knock him down. Good blitz that time by Puck. This is one game that J.J. would really love to win. The Cedar Rapidian, two brothers who went to Minnesota. A Gopher injured on the play. It's right tackle Dan LaMotta.
You'll see on the replay here, Gene, Hawkeyes dropping back, and nobody picks up J.J. Puck, and Mike Burke's containing from the outside. So the two of them combined, and great play by the Iowa defense.
Minnesota punt formation. It's Brent Kerbel on his 40-yard line. High snap, but the kick is away and high. Marciano back. Gets away from the ball at the 5, and it goes into the end zone. The Hawkeyes will be taking over at the 20-yard line. And we'll be back with more first quarter action after this.
If you ever wasted a Saturday trying to replace a cheap tension spring or a sheared pin, this needs to be your new mower. If you ever killed a Sunday by chewing up a drive belt or burning out a bearing, this needs to be your new mower. This is a John Deere, and because it's built so well, you can get something from a John Deere that you can't always depend on with other mowers. You can get done.
With every Budweiser enjoyed, the promise endures. The promise of genuine quality. Quality you can taste. Clean, crisp, beechwood aged Budweiser. Always certain, always satisfying. Because we know you wouldn't have it any other way. That's why this Bud's for you.
Rick Bayless, the tailback for the Hawkeyes, but the handoff goes to Hudson. Turns the corner, powers his way after being hit at the 22, and advances the ball to about the 26-yard line. Bayless hasn't carried much this year. Hurt, of course, in the Iowa State game. 28 carries, 3+ per carry average.
Well, David Hudson, you see his stats are just over 4-point average. On that particular play, Gene, Rick Bayless threw a great block that really freed Hudson to turn the corner, and after he got the corner turn, he picked up the 6 yards.
Hudson and Bayless in an I set with Early and Watkins slotted to the right side. And the ball to Bayless with a cutback. Stopped at the 28-yard line by John Leverance, their leading tackler, sophomore from Ankeny, Iowa.
Well, the defense played it right that time, and we tried to turn the corner to this side of the field rather than the left side, but they stopped Rick at the line of scrimmage just after a short gain.
Richard Bass and Craig Clark entering the Iowa lineup. The two wideouts going to the bench, Early and Watkins. Probably have the power I set with a 3rd and 1. Hartlieb, the quarterback. The last guy through, and it's Bayless. Gets to the 30. It'll be close. Bayless following the two fullbacks, Bass and Hudson, left his feet. They indicate first down.
He got just over the 30-yard line. He just flew over the line of scrimmage and got the first down as a result of taking off and flying through the air. But big first down now. It gives us a little more field position and a little better play selection now as a result of that positioning.
Amazing thing for the Iowa offense, not only the story of Chuck Hartlieb, Iowa's offense first in the Big Ten in passing, first total offense, but the fact that Kevin Harmon and Rick Bayless have been able to shake off injuries and be major factors here late in the season. The pitch goes to Bayless. The cutback just powers for about 3 yards. John Leverance and Max Stevens, linebackers, credit for the tackle. Iowa has not put anything together so far offensively. We're down to 3.5 minutes. First quarter, Minnesota leading 3-0.
Well, Chuck Hartlieb's in the huddle right now, clapping his hands, trying to encourage the offensive unit to pull together here, and let's keep moving the ball, and I'm sure they'll come alive here in this series.
Great series that goes back to 1891. This is the oldest football series for the Hawkeyes and the Gophers. A little crossbuck. Harmon reversing. Tough yardage. Or Hudson, rather, and he gets just beyond the 35-yard line. Stevens and Sunvold. Hawkeyes staying on the ground.
Well, there's some good faking in the backfield here. You see the fake one way, then they hand back to Hudson, who really breaks a tackle there in the backfield, then just lowers his shoulders here. Gets a good gain. Now it's 3rd down and about 4.
The third hitter finally made the stop. Key 3rd down play for the Hawkeyes on their 3rd offensive series. 3rd and 4, 2 wideouts. Still in the first quarter late. Down to 3 seconds as the drop back by Hartlieb. And it's complete, 40-yard line, and Flagg stays on his feet, out of bounds. A great catch by Flagg, his 19th of the season.
Well, he was wide open, Gene. I don't know what coverage they're in there, but you'll see in the replay, Chuck will drop back and he'll look around the field, and then he knows where the tight end's going to be. Just like in last week's game, he's going to go to the right side. The tight end will be right along the sideline. You see Mike Flagg coming here right towards the sideline, just over his shoulder. Watch him just knock the defenders off here. Actually, he stepped out of bounds before he did that, but big play by our tight end again.
Good blocking up front by Bill Anderson and Bob Schmidt to give Hartlieb time. Again, the cross buck. Near side, it's Bass. Bass at 30, down to the 20-yard line, inside the 20 at the 19 for a Hawkeye first down. Hawkeyes again going for the little misdirection, the cross buck, and the Hawks are inside the Minnesota 20.
Gene, I think they've seen something on the defense that's making them think they're going to go with the first fake, and they faked it one way, then hand back to Bass, and he just has a wall of blockers here as he goes to the right and gets downfield for about 15-yard gain, and another big first down right at the 20-yard line.
Bonner had to get him from behind. Lone setback, and it goes right to the fullback, but there's nothing there for Richard Bass on that play. Try in the middle of the line, and Ron Getz, one of the outside linebackers, making the stop. He's from Waconia, Minnesota. The leading tackler, Leverance, with 149. That's impressive.
Well, it is. He's an Iowa boy, but the offensive unit now has 2nd down and 10, and we're in position now where you don't want to lose any yardage because we got a good field goal position, but yet you want to go after that first down and the touchdown.
Early splits left. It's Bass and Bayless. Eye set for the Hawkeyes. Watkins on the near side. Goes to Bayless. Absolutely nothing there, and trying the right side of the Minnesota defense. Stopped at the 20-yard line. Brings up 3rd and 10. Tell you, Leverance and the other linebackers playing like they're possessed. They want to win this one badly, too.
Well, both teams do, Gene. Both, if Minnesota beats us, there's probably a good chance they'll go to a bowl game, and obviously we're supposed to go to a bowl game, so there's a lot on the line today.
Hudson, a lone setback. Obviously, a passing down 3rd and 11 at the 21-yard line. Loss on that last play. Hartlieb the drop. Misfires at the goal line to Cook. He had him. That's one of the few times you'll see Hartlieb miss his receiver. But, you know, when we were down on the field, Mike, at that position, you're looking right into the sun.
Well, you are. I don't know if it affected him here or not, but I'm sure Chuck is frustrated with the pass because Marv was wide open, as was Quinn early. But that's going to happen once in a while, and we got a straight-on shot at a field goal here from about the 28-yard line, 26-yard line.
37-yarder with Houghton kicking into the wind. Plenty, and it's a tie game. Houghton ties it up. That's his 20th field goal and his 95th point. It's 3-3, and you're watching Iowa football on the Hawkeye Sports Network.
Sewing machine not sewing anymore? Take it to Stark's. Vacuum cleaner not cleaning anymore? Take it to Stark's. Stark's vacuum and sewing machine in Cedar Rapids. The service people. Stark's has the know-how to fix your machine right. Any make, any model. New vacuums, too. The good ones. Real cleaners that last. Plus a complete selection of parts. You don't need a service contract to get good service. At Stark's Vacuum and Sewing Machine, 1812 Blairs Ferry Road in Cedar Rapids.
Protein stains. When they're ground in, soaked through, you need the power to cut through. The protein power of Era Plus. Just watch. This grass stain is made of protein, and protein gets out protein. And look, Era even has the power to cut through the ground-in dirt below. Nothing gets out every stain, but with Era Plus, you've got protein power to cut clean through.
Rob Houghton will be kicking off, and that field goal, his 20th of the season, breaks a personal record for Houghton. Couch is deep in the middle at the 10-yard line. Richardson and McGee to his left and right. And it's hit high, held up by the wind. Couch takes it inside the 20. Spun down at the 30-yard line. High kick, but the wind held it up, and it was Tyrone Berry on the kick coverage team for the Hawkeyes, and the Gophers have it. The game is tied, and we're half minute away from the end of this first quarter. Minnesota started out with 5 wins over Northern California, or Northern Iowa, California, Central Michigan, Purdue, and Northwestern. The scoring drive for the Hawkeyes, 11 plays, 60 yards, covering 4 minutes and 44 seconds. But after winning their first 5, including Purdue and Northwestern in the Big Ten, then they lost to Indiana, Ohio State, Illinois, Michigan, before turning back Wisconsin last week. Foggy, the quarterback, sends Couch in motion with the fake. The back to throw as time is going for the down, and it is complete to Gators at the 20-yard line, and he advances the ball to the Iowa 14. Gators from Zanesville, Oklahoma. Beautiful play. Foggy had time.
Well, they faked the option type play, and then he just drops back and actually throws this ball quite a ways, Gene. Plays it right into the receiver's hands, who will have the defender beat. I believe it's Greg Brown back there. Just has a step on him right there. You see it. Nicely caught ball by Minnesota.
Well, I'm sure they called this play because time running out in the first quarter, and Minnesota has the wind. They spot the ball on the 18-yard line. Here's Foggy. Thompson hit hard. You have to hit this guy right around the ankles to drop him. And that was Joe Mott and Dave Haight at the 15, a couple of yards on the play. But these two great kickers, Houtland and Lowmiller, anything inside the 30-yard line, just about an automatic 3.
Well, they're both experienced kickers. Both have strong legs, and it's going to be interesting as the game progresses to see how the field position plays in this game.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score tied 3-3. We'll be back after this.
There are those who want the gas mileage and front-wheel drive performance of an economy car. And there are some who desire the people and cargo room of a van. And others wish to have the comforts of a motorhome. And then there are those who want it all. The Lasharo by Winnebago. For those who want it all. See the Lasharo at your local Winnebago dealer.
Be right back, Pop.
This bud's for all that you do.
Hey, Pete, come here. This year?
Hey, my glove. I found out Pop worked overtime to pay for it. He was always knocking himself out to give us something better.
Sounds a lot like you.
Budweiser, the king of beers, salutes everyone who's ever worked for more than just a paycheck.
Thanks. I think that's my line.
This bud's for you.
Great pass plays, you can see. Foggy has plenty of time. He has a good arm. And Chris Gators, he's caught only 9 passes all season long. Full head of steam. He takes that on the run. Loses his balance and goes down inside the Iowa 20. And it's now a 2nd and 8 on the Iowa 15. Minnesota in I-backs, 2 wide receivers. Ricky Foggy, great runner and passer. 6,000 total yards plus in his career. Down to 2 seconds. And the ball goes to Thompson on the pitch out, a flag down. I don't know whether time had run out, Mike, or what, but a flag is down on the line of scrimmage. Motion penalty against the Gophers moves the ball back to the 20. It is 2nd and 13. Opening moments, second quarter. Foggy again with the long count. You can see his fake goes down, and he is covered there by Myron Kepi. Kepi covering on that play, and as Foggy looked up, there was big number 77.
Well, Myron Kepi's just been doing a great job for Iowa this year. You see on the replay, Foggy will drop back after faking into Thompson's stomach. He slips on the turf there, and the ball bounces as a result of it. Fortunately, he regained it from Minnesota, but Kepi was there to make sure he couldn't go anywhere.
Almost a tackle by defensive tackle Dan LaMotta, trailing Myron Kepi from Durant, 6'3", 260-pounder. One of the 19 Iowa seniors playing their finale here in Kinnick. Gators wide left and Bruce to the right side on a 3rd and a bundle.
Too much time.
Time had run out. Time had almost run out the play before, but this time the 25-second clock had elapsed. 3rd down and 25. The clock had run out, costing the Gophers another 5 yards. So it's a 3rd and 25 now. Carter deep left, and Bruce opposite him. Bruce goes in motion. Hawkey again, the long count. And the drop. He can run with the ball. He wants to throw it, though. Now he stays on his feet. Is hit inside the 30-yard line by J.J. Puck. A great runner, but that time he wanted to throw the ball, and now Lohmiller and his team comes out to try for another 3. They'll spot the ball at the Iowa 28-yard line. Again, the Hawkeye holding. Lohmiller will be kicking from the, can't see the tee, about the 34-yard line. It'll be a 44-yard attempt by Lohmiller, who has 15 so far for the season and has booted 1 about 65 yards. Pretty good rush on. The kick has the distance, and it's good. So, a 3-point lead for Minnesota on Lohmiller's second 3-pointer, and we'll be back with more on the Hawkeye Sports Network after these local messages.
We're Bob Zimmerman's shuffling crew, shuffling through, doing it for you. Now we're not here to cause no trouble. We're just here to do the Zimmerman shuffle. We feel so proud that we could burst. We're beating Rapids and we're first on first. Zimmerman's deals are topped by none. First on first makes us #1. The Hawks are winners and so are you with a Zimmerman, Ford, or BMW. Now you know who's tops in town. See the Zimmerman guys, the best around.
Honey, Uncle Louie's coming over.
There's a time for peanuts.
He's putting us in his will.
And a time for Fisher honey roasted peanuts.
Sarah, your computer date's here. A doctor somebody or other.
Fisher honey roasted peanuts aren't your ordinary peanuts. Honey coated, perfectly roasted, and lightly salted for a unique, sweet, nutty taste.
Ah, an evening alone.
You, Mother.
Fisher honey roasted peanuts. They're not your ordinary peanuts.
Hawkeyes with a 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line after the short kick by Lohmiller. 12:54 remaining, second quarter. Hawks have not been able to get the old offense oiled up. Here's the handoff to Harmon. Gets into the secondary, dives to the 40-yard line. Harmon is carried now 4 times, about 20 yards. Hartlieb has completed 4 out of 6. Missed a possible touchdown when he just overshot. 5-play, 42-yard drive, 2:46. Covering the second field goal by Lohmiller on that series. Hawkeyes with a 2nd and 6 on the Iowa 40-yard line. 1 setback, and that's Hudson. Hartlieb with the drop and time. The short receiver gets it, and it's the tight end, Flagg. First down just shy of midfield. Mike Flagg hit by linebacker John Leveretz. Hayden admitted Hawks made a mistake in not recruiting Leveretz, but the Hawkeyes have had a host of very good LBs. Back in the lineup, Richard Bass.
Well, that was a nice, really, we were looking downfield on that last play, and then we hit Flagg as a safety valve. It was a nice big target to have for a safety valve.
4-man defensive front. Minnesota expecting the Hawkeyes apparently to put the ball up again. Ibacks. The fake by Hartlieb. He has time. Right over the line. In and out of the hands of Kevin. Ooh. He had a lot of running room ahead. Remember, it is brisk here, but I think maybe Kevin just lost the concentration for a split second.
Well, you see his stats there, Gene, for 1987. He might have been thinking about running before he caught the ball, and that can happen to anybody. But he did have some room to maneuver, and that's what he's best at. And that's why they threw it to him in that situation, because they know he had a chance to do some of his gifted moves against their defense.
And now the blitz may be on, because we have just about everybody up to the line of scrimmage except the deep secondary. Now they drop back. They just give it a 4-man front look as Hartlieb makes a deep drop. Over the line, it is complete. 35-yard line, Watkins, Travis Watkins, the sure-handed sophomore from Claremont, California. Watkins' 28th reception.
Well, we had 4 receivers out that time, and when we do that, it really opens things up, Gene. And this time you'll see Watkins is wide open right in front of the defender. Chuck drops back, gets great protection. Actually, up the middle, you don't see it on the replay, but he could have run for probably 10 yards up the middle. But Watkins just moves a nice little move in front of the defender there, and gets the first down, holds onto the ball. Big play.
Hawkeyes again with the lone setback. It's Hudson, and they're going to run the ball, give it to Hudson, and short yardage at right tackle. That's usually the passing look, but that time they gave the ball to the fullback, and Getz made the tackle. A little bit surprised that maybe, Mike, they aren't blitzing a little bit more, because if they don't use the blitz, Hartlieb can really pick you apart.
Well, Chuck is as good as there is in the country if you give him time, and I am surprised that they aren't coming more. A couple times in that first quarter they did blitz this, and it was effective for them, so I'm surprised they haven't continued that.
Pro set, Harmon and Hudson, 2 wideouts. 2nd and 8, Hawks on the Gopher 34-yard line. There's that little shovel pass to Harmon, and he gets just inside the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd and maybe 3 yards. The little shovel pass, the lead interference by Dave Alexander.
Well, that's been an effective play for the Hawks, and again with Harmon, if you can get him the ball where he can maneuver on people, he's really good at it, and that's what they're attempting to do when they use that shovel pass. He's going to the sideline now, Gene. Rick Bayless is in the ballgame.
And with the play, Marv Cook. Hayden using his 3 tight ends, Cook, Flagg, and Clark. Messages from the bench. Key 3rd down play, and they may be blitzing here. The rollout early is open, takes it at the 20-yard line, scoots to the 15, and run out of bounds on the 13-yard line by Tony White. Quinn Early shut out in the receiving department last week. He's picked off 2 here today.
Well, that was a big first down. We needed that. They did come with the blitz. The line did a great job. You see them pick up the blitz here, which gives Chuck just enough time, and they didn't call a deep pattern. It was just a short out pattern to Quinn, who had his man beat, and then he gets the ball for additional yardage here, gets thrown out of bounds about the 12 or 13-yard line.
So the Hawkeyes are at the 13, trailing here 6-3, 10 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. Pro set, Harmon and Bayless. And number 1, Quinn Early, the only deep receiver. The handoff goes to Hudson, and Hudson up the middle to about the 11-yard line, where Doug Mueller and Gary Had combined for the tackle. And on the field go Harberts, Watkins, and Clark. Hawkeyes need to get into the end zone here. Hawks have tied at 3, but now Minnesota leads by 3.
Well, we do. It'd be nice to get 6 here, but we're in great field position already, so we've got to get something out of this series.
2nd down play, Hawks. Crowd here pretty subdued up to this point. The short drop. The spot pass complete. Out of bounds, Harberts. Harberts took that, rolled out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
Gene, I think he might be just short of the first down here. Looks like about another foot or so to go. You see Harberts right at the sideline. He might have been able to go another yard and get the first down, but it does give us an extra play here now. 3rd and very short.
Well, he wanted to protect the ball and just to make sure that his feet were in bounds rather than think about going for the end zone. Hudson, Bayless, and Bass on a 3rd and short at the Gopher 4-yard line. The power set. And he goes to Bayless. Close. He may be in here. Touchdown. Bayless at right tackle behind Big Herb Wester. And the Hugo, Minnesota native, gets the first touchdown of the ball game, and Iowa for the first time has the lead, 9-6.
Well, there's a happy Rick Bayless running off the field here, and it's a good power play. We are in the power I formation, and you see Rick, he's very determined to get in the end zone here. Gets a nice hole, but then he has to kind of leap right over the lineman there, and he does get into the end zone for 6, and that's a big play for him. He's been hurt all year. To score against his home state is a big thrill.
Nobody can find that seam any better than Bayless as Houtland splits the uprights. Iowa leads now 10-6, 9:25 to go. 2nd quarter, and we'll be back with more 2nd quarter action after this.
Finding the right gift is easy with these ideas inside the newest holiday circular from True Value Hardware Stores. This Master Mechanic circular saw has a 2-horsepower motor, or give variable speed control with their jigsaw or handy reversible drill. Then for smooth finishes, give this rugged belt sander or this 1/3 horsepower finishing sander from Master Mechanic and participating True Value hardware stores. And tell them Pat Summerall sent you.
The tradition of horsepower. Miss Budweiser and the king of beers. A tradition of horsepower that's making waves. Racing fans, this Bud's for you.
Gophers could not move the ball, and Herbel's short punt of 22 yards down at the 44-yard line where the Hawkeyes take over, 1st and 10. Deep drop by Hartlieb. Behind the line pass to Mark Cook, and Cook, I think, has the first down. Hit by Gary Hadd. When did you last see a screen pass thrown to a tight end, Mike?
Well, they've got to do something different with Marv because he keeps going downfield, and they're going to pick that up eventually. So it's a very good call on the Iowa offensive scheme of things because they just kind of delayed him to the right side, let him catch the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and then gets good blocking from the lineman.
Marv is 2nd in receiving behind Quinn Early, and in the Big Ten, he is 7th. It's a first down on the Minnesota 46. 8 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. Iowa leading the Gophers 10-6 with the ball. Hudson and Harmon in I-backs. It goes to Harmon. Gets into the secondary, scoots to the 40-yard line, a 6-yard advance. And like Bayless, Harmon just has that instinct of where the seam might open up.
Well, you're starting to see that offensive line kind of take charge against Minnesota right now, and when you can get 6 yards or more on first down, it's just a great lift to your offensive line and your backs and everybody, and if we continue to do that, we should gain momentum as we move downfield.
Flagg and Clark, the 2 senior tight ends. Cook, fortunately, has 1 more year, the Hawkeyes' 2nd down play. And the spin, the dive by Harmon to the 36-yard line. Eddie Miles, the strong safety, and Max Stevens at linebacker combined for the hit, close to another first down. And the referee, John Nealon, wants a timeout for the measurement. Hartlieb now 10 of 13 for 102 yards, and the Hawkeyes have a first down on the Minnesota 37. A deep drop by Hartlieb. A double pump, and it's a short pass to Harmon, and Harmon out of bounds inside the 3-yard line. Ron Getz, outside linebacker, taking him down inside the Minnesota 30-yard line. There was a pump fake that time, and maybe he was going to go all the time to Kevin.
Well, I think it was designed to go to Kevin here. He's just going to fake it to Watkins on the right side, who's really open. But they're trying to, I think, just establish that short passing game, making them come up, which will open up a long pass later in the game.
Getz played the pass well, but the Hawkeyes have advanced it to the 29, where it's 2nd and 3 upcoming. Hudson and Harmon and I-backs. Wideouts are not deep. Now Harbert's in motion toward the line of scrimmage, and the pitch back to Harmon. It's a straight sweep. Cuts the outside the 20. Knocked out of bounds. At about the 18-yard line by Eddie Miles, the strong safety.
Well, Kevin just gets a deep pitch here. You'll see Chuck toss it back to him. Gets nice blocking from his line and from David Hudson. Gets the corner turn. Gets the first down here, and then they push him out of bounds just as he's right about the 20, inside the 20-yard line. And actually, they do push him into that cement wall, which sure didn't feel very good to Kevin.
Well, as you said last week, Mike, the Hawkeyes had to come up against Ohio State with a good running attack, and it was nice to see a healthy Kevin Harmon running the ball well. 50-yard touchdown run and 151 yards overall. Now here's Bayless. Bayless at right tackle. Sneaks behind a blocker and gets just inside the 15-yard line. Leverance, ever present with the stop. An advance of about 3.5 yards. One fashion note we should make note of, Mike, they've gone away from the old maroon uniforms. They're in the Cardinal and gold.
I like it better, Gene.
2nd down, the ball in midfield. 2 stand-up tight ends in there for the Hawkeyes. 2 wideouts and 1 setback in Hudson, and a long count by Hartlieb. Maybe audibilizing as he makes the drop. And it's again a pass just over the line of scrimmage. Oh, Hudson, he advances to the 10-yard line. Looking into the end zone, everybody covered there, so Hudson gets the reception, short yardage, but it advances it to the 10. It'll be 3rd and about 2.
Well, there's a real sense of where Chuck knows where he is on the field here. He gets pressure from his right side here. He has to step up right here, but he knows that David Hudson's there as a safety valve, and very smartly just dumps it to it and let David do the work. And David's just about a yard short, so it's 3rd and 1 right at the 10-yard line.
Just under 5 minutes before halftime. Iowa 10, Minnesota 6. A power I set on a 3rd and a little bit under a yard. Let's see who jumped first. I think it could have been Bob Schmidt. Motion in the Iowa line. That's the first Iowa penalty. Moves the ball to the 15-yard line. So a little shifting in the personnel. Another wide receiver goes in. 3rd down now and 6. It's a fake handoff. Hartlieb going into the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Beautiful play to Mike Flagg. He was covered, but Big Mike won the battle. He went up high, took it away from a couple of Minnesota players, and a big touchdown deep in the end zone.
Well, it was a great play for the Iowa offense here. And a normal person you couldn't throw this to, but Mike Flagg's so big. You'll see on the replay, he's well covered. The defender's not looking at the ball, but Mike just jumps up over him, catches it for a touchdown. That's a great play. It's smart of Chuck just to lay it up for him. Here's another angle where he just jumps up over the defensive back and keeps his feet in bounds, which is a very smart play on Mike Flagg's part.
Eddie Miles just had to play second fiddle that time to Mike Flagg as Howland is in for and makes the PAT. And Iowa leads 17-6, 4:24 to go, and we'll return after this on the Hawkeye Sports Network.
Mary Rogers' eyes, sparkling blue. Nearsighted, confirmed by doctor's exam. Comfortable with color-accented frames, lightweight plastic lenses with a soft tint. Mary Rogers' eyes, corrected, beautiful, and in love. Pearl knows how glasses work. Pearl cares how glasses look. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Hey, you Hawkeyes, I'm Chuck Long. I've made it big because I'm in this song. I'm proud to rap with these Zimmerman guys. Their cars and trucks are the very best vibes. When I'm done with this little ditty, gotta get back to Detroit City. But when I need a truck, van, or car, Zimmerman's a place I'd travel far. They give the best deals, they're topped by none. When you buy, you know you won. Just a final thought to pass on to you. Buy a Zimmerman, Ford, or BMW.
Minnesota taking over at the 20-yard line after Houtland's kick went into the end zone. Ricky Foggy, and they're lining up in the wishbone. Richardson is in there along with Bruce and Foggy and Thompson. Again, a long count. It's down to 4 seconds. Foggy on the option. Keeps, spins, knocked down after about a 2-yard advance. He couldn't fake out Mike Burke.
Well, Gene, he didn't have anybody to pitch it to because Darrell Thompson got ahead of the play, and I think actually Ricky was looking to pitch the ball, but he was too far in front of him, and so he had to turn it upfield and try to run against the Iowa defense.
A play, 57-yard drive covering 3 minutes, 56 seconds on the 15-yarder. Hartlieb to Flagg. And it's 17-6 with just under 4 minutes to go now in the first half. Sellout crowd. We have Bruce coming out of your picture, deep to the near side for Minnesota on a 2nd and 7. Again, the wishbone and the long count by Foggy. The option play as he rolls out, being chased, and is hit hard. A loss on the play. Brad Quass right at the shoulders and dropped him at the 20-yard line.
You see Foggy comes to his right here. He's looking at, he fakes the fullback, and he has to actually run backwards because of the pursuit down the line of scrimmage by the Iowa defense. And he's hit very hard right here by Brad Quast. And a couple other Hawks follow the act here, and sure Ricky's didn't feel good after that play.
Joe Mott doing a good job chasing him. Against Iowa, he has totaled in the last 3 games 99 yards running and 308 yards passing. And he's their career offensive leader with 6,700 yards. He is minus yardage, a -2 right now. Makes the double fake, drops back, passes across the line, incomplete. Jason Bruce had it, dropped it, brings up 4th down.
Well, the ball was there, Gene. He just dropped it. He was had to come back a little bit for the ball, but should have been caught, and nothing seems to be going right for Minnesota right now.
Well, Hayden Kepi put pressure on Foggy. He did get the ball away. It was catchable, but it brings up 4th down and 11 into punt. Brent Herbal, and again into the wind at midfield. Peter Marciano, the Rabbit, waiting for a chance to make a return. Boy, he had a honey a year ago, 90 plus. Again, a high kick doesn't go very far. Hawks get away from it, takes an Iowa bounce, and a Minnesota player downs it at the 41. The Hawks in terrific field position with 2:37 to go first half. Hawkeyes good field position on that short punt by Herbal into the wind at the Minnesota 40-yard line. Blitz is on as Hartlieb just over the line again, complete to Bayless. Dropped at the 35 and a hard hit. Bayless was not the primary receiver, but the safety valve, that's why he's there. In case everybody's covered deep, they can at least pick up a few yards, and it's a +5.
Gene, it seems like they either bring their linebackers in on the blitz or drop them way back, and that's why I think we're going with the short passing game underneath the coverage, and it's very effective so far.
Brian Bonner, transfer from Wisconsin, by the way, hometown Minneapolis. Bayless and Goodman now I-backs. The double fake. Hartlieb is going into the end zone. Quinn Early, touchdown! Quinn Early! Oh, he had trouble, I think, seeing the ball for a moment. Quinn Early gets 6 deep in the end zone. And another senior, the 3rd senior, to get a touchdown here in the first half for the Hawks.
Gene, they're going to have to start rushing us or something. And this time they did put us a blitz, but they double team right there in the middle of the screen, you see. And the ball is perfectly thrown. Quinn Early, right at the back of the end zone, has room for 1 step after he catches it. Perfect combination. Here you see another angle. Quinn just has the defender beat right there. 1 step, 2 steps in, and beautiful pass play.
And they're giving Tony White, who is a freshman from Orlando, a tough game. Here's Houghton spinning it through, and it's 24-6 Hawks, 1:55 to go, first half. There was no further scoring in the second quarter. We pause now for these local messages on the Hawkeye Sports Network.
This Christmas, a lot of kids just might go to bed with visions of baby pound puppies and baby pound purries dancing in their heads. Well, every time you buy any sandwich, fries, and a drink at Hawkeyes, you can get one of the babies for only $2.49. There's a new one every week, so by Christmas Eve you could have all 5, which might give you the chance to make some dreams come true on Christmas morning.
Friends, I'm Denny Vandenberg, the dealer on the move in Independence, Iowa. We're having the largest Harvest Day sale that we've ever had, and the selection's never been greater. If you think you're paying too much for any kind of an automobile, bring your title and trade in, and we'll almost let you write your own deal. For example, I've got this 1988 Sprint on special for only $55 down and $125 a month. Now keep these ducky dollies a-quacking and give us a call at 1-800-373-DUCK.
Come to Dubuque, set your spirit free.
I want to share all my discoveries. For you and me, there's variety. Come grab a piece of our history. Discover it all here in Dubuque. You can discover it all. Come to Dubuque.
Sure was fun, wasn't it? Winning 9 straight national titles. But now we're number 2. So we've gone back to the basics. Hard work and discipline. Lots of discipline. The basics include you too. Join us this season in Carver Hawkeye Arena as we strive to take it from state.
Help take it from state. Buy your season ticket today at the UI Athletic Ticket Office in Carver Hawkeye Arena.
How long does a John Deere last?
How long does a John Deere last? How long does a John Deere last? How long does a John Deere last. How long does John Deere last? Well, come on.
Attention Hawkeye fans, it's time to do your Hawk shopping at the official Iowa Hawk Shop. Support the University of Iowa men's and women's athletic programs by purchasing officially licensed Hawkeye clothing and souvenirs through the Iowa Hawk Shop. Right today for your catalog.
Hawkeyes with a 24-6 lead over Minnesota at intermission, and two key pass plays late in the second quarter. One to Mike Flagg, the other to Quinn Early, to kind of break the game open at that point, Mike.
Well, there's no question about the second quarter. We took off, and there's one of the big plays when they hit Mike Flagg in the end zone. You see him go up over the defender right here. Chuck threw the ball high enough so that Mike could catch it and the defender couldn't, and big play got things turned around for us in that second quarter. Another big play for us, Gene, was when we hit Quinn Early for a touchdown pass. You'll see Chuck reverse out, make the fake to the back, has a good time here, and he'll just lay the ball up again, and Quinn Early is going to be right at the back of the end zone. You'll see him. He has his man beat right there. He knows he has him beat, but he slows down enough just to catch the ball inside the end zone.
And Hartlieb had 13 in a row at one point, just at the end of the half. Of course, he was intercepted. The Hawkeyes pretty well dominating all the stats, Mike.
They sure did. You see the time of possession is the main thing, especially the second quarter. We maintained the ball very well. Big difference in first downs, total yardage and everything, and we just totally dominated that first half.
Okay, and the halftime score 24-6. We'll be back with third quarter action in just a moment.
The Lebanon Mattress Company is having a sale.
Wait a minute. You already pay wholesale prices when you buy direct from the Lebanon Mattress Company. They can't be having a sale.
It's true. Now you can save an additional 10% off on their already low prices and get a free metal frame.
Plus free delivery and free setup?
Yes, you could buy a full-size mattress and box spring for only $39 a month on Lebanon's 6-month no-interest plan.
That's incredible. Boy, now is the time to buy.
That's right. Get 10% off and a free metal frame now at the Lebanon Mattress Company. Call today.
You've got a sore throat.
Like it's on fire.
And you want the pain to stop.
The faster the better.
That means Chloraseptic. Because only Chloraseptic has the powerful anesthetic phenol that penetrates nerve endings for relief in seconds. Relief so fast, the moment you feel it, we'll stop this commercial.
Gene Clausen with Mike Seelig as Iowa gets set to kick off to Minnesota. Minnesota will be receiving, and they'll have the win in the fourth quarter. Howland high. Couch takes it at the 5-yard line for Minnesota. Pretty good. Somebody tripped him up. There was an opening at the 25-yard line. Somebody hit him low around the ankles, and he moves up to the 30-yard line, at which point Minnesota will take over 1st and 10. Mike, the Hawks had all the offensive stats in the first half, but I think you have to point out what a job they did defensively against Darrell Thompson and Ricky Foggy in the first two quarters.
Well, and especially you got to credit the defense when they stop the team. When we give them the ball inside the 20-yard line, all they get out of is a field goal, and another time they're down there around the 20, we stop them to get a field goal. So you really do have to credit them defensively. Jim Riley made that tackle on the kickoff, Gene, and he's always down there in pursuit of the ball.
Foggy 3 of 6 for 90 yards. He had a beautiful pass to Gators, covering about 60, his only long gain. Here he rolls out, finding nobody open, decides to run, and Puck is there to drop him at the 37. And Thompson, 7 attempts for 24 yards. That's even more phenomenal. The Big Ten's third leading rusher. And so the Hawkeyes announcers for this telecast have been selected by Rasmussen Communications Management Corporation and approved by the University of Iowa. Straight handoff to Thompson, trying to get the first down. He's hit at the line of scrimmage.
7-4 Michigan here.
job by the Iowa defense, tackle to tackle, and coming up from the bottom, Dave Haight. So it'll be 3rd and about 3.
Well, it's big down here now. If we can hold them, you don't want them to come out in the second half and gain momentum and start a comeback. So if we can hold them here, it's going to mean a lot in the second half.
Minnesota thwarting the Hawkeyes late in the first half on the interception in the end zone. And that snap 13 in a row by Chuck Hartlieb for the Hawkeyes. There's the rollout by the quarterback on the option. He has the first down and scoots to midfield. Foggy knocked out of bounds by Sistrunk on the far side in front of the Minnesota bench, and it's a first down Minnesota. One of the few times they've worked the option successfully.
Well, they just strung it out enough, and you'll see Brad Quast slide down the line of scrimmage, but it's not quite enough to catch up with Foggy here. They had the pitch man covered, but then Ricky, he's a very tricky runner, and you see Sistrunk knock him out of bounds there. But he's a good quarterback, and we contained him very well in the second half, and we have to do that again in the first half. We have to do it again in the second half.
Only their 5th first down. Foggy with 21 yards and 12 rushes, well below his usual performance. The ball just inside the Iowa 50 and a first down Minnesota. I-backs. Here's Foggy rolling out. Takes his time, and his receiver out of bounds at the 34-yard line. That was Jason Bruce. Coming into the ball game with 11 receptions. Their leading receiver, tight end Craig Otto, injured and not in this game.
Well, and I'm sure they miss him because when the tight end's the leading receiver, that means the quarterback's looking there an awful lot, and he fits into the style of play that Minnesota has with Foggy getting to the flanks and just throwing the ball short. But that time they had the receiver open. It was just the timing was off a little bit. Bruce stepped out of bounds before he caught the ball.
Kepi putting on pressure, but coming up just a trifle late. 2nd and 10 Minnesota at midfield. Opening moments here of the 3rd quarter in Kinnick Stadium. Fake to the fullback and the option rollout by Foggy, and he's going nowhere. About a 2-yard advance. 3 Hawkeyes trailed him all the way over. Crossed Sistrunk, and I think it was Burke and Mott.
They come up tight and not get any sound.
And that's the way to play the option, I guess, Mike.
Well, it was played perfectly. They're starting to do some of this reversing out action, both on the pass and the run. And it's worked a couple times here, but that time we adjusted well, slid down the line of scrimmage as he optioned the play, and stopped it for really no gain.
3rd and 7. Minnesota's converted only 1 third down situation. They have slots left now on a 3rd and 7 at the Iowa 47-yard line, and a drop back by Foggy. They almost had him hit behind the line. Now the pass away. Incomplete, I think. Are they going to call it a completed pass just inside the 30? Well, we'll wait and see on the replay. They're going to call it complete to Gators. Heck of a job by Foggy to get the ball away.
Well, Dave Haight almost made the tackle, Gene, there. Thompson did a nice job of picking him up. The ball, I'm not sure he was throwing it to this receiver. It looked to me like he was throwing it to the short man right there, and he overthrew it, and the deep receiver just very alertly made the catch, and they did count it as a completed pass.
Well, you'd have to wonder about that one, but they call it complete just inside the Iowa 30. Goes to the fullback, Thompson, or rather tailback, and he gets to the 25-yard line where Steve Thomas cracks him for the Hawkeyes.
Well, they're trying to maintain that ball control, and on this drive they realized in that first half that every time we got the ball we were a threat to score, and they're going to want to just move the ball downfield very cautiously. So far they're doing that, so it's 2nd down and 5.
You see the job the Iowa defense has done on Darrell Thompson. Rushed for over 100 yards last year, losing claws up in the dome against the Hawkeyes. Number 3 rusher in the Big Ten. 2nd and 5 on the Iowa 25 for Minnesota. Foggy, the long count. It's down to 5 seconds. Gets the play away and the rollout. And the completion inside the 10 to Gators. Gators spun out. He got it just inside the 20 and spun out at the 7-yard line. So Minnesota taking advantage of the big break on the call.
Well, you're going to see a really good athletic move here on the sideline against Kerry Burt. Once Gators gets the ball right here, he puts a little move. Well, I guess it was on Anthony Wright, and then Dwight Sistrunk knocks him out of bounds.
Anthony came up with air that time. Beautiful move by Gators. 3 receptions and 88 yards. Gators from Zanesville, Oklahoma. First down inside the Iowa 10 for Minnesota. Here's the quarterback pitching out to Thompson. Hit hard at the 5-yard line. Sistrunk coming up. Helping out Joe Mott.
Gene, I think Dwight Sistrunk just loves this option play stuff because it gives him a chance to come full steam ahead, come up and hit somebody as hard as you can, and that's his type of game, and he loves it.
Every secondary man would rather play, I think, the run than the pass.
Well, especially Dwight. He loves to hit people.
Minnesota now 2nd and goal. They're at the 5. Can the Hawkeye defense hold? 8 in the middle. 5-man front. And the pass in the end zone, caught for the touchdown. Nice faking, and it's to Gators. Foggy, a nice fake, and Minnesota is on the board with their first touchdown. It's 24-12.
Well, it's a good execution on Minnesota's part. They fake the option play to the right. Somebody has a hold of Foggy's leg there as he's throwing the ball. Hits the receiver just inside the end zone line, and 6 points for Minnesota.
Minnesota opened the scoring.
See another angle here. The ball is just thrown perfectly in the outstretched hands of Gators, and he catches it for a touchdown.
Lohmiller had 2 field goals in the first half, and now they open the scoring in the second half. It's 24-12. Lohmiller trying the PAT, which is good, and it's 24-13. Iowa leading with 10:54 to go in the third quarter. We'll be back with more action in just a moment.
Hey, how you doing? Good. In fact, I feel like light. Hey. What the? Uh-oh. Oh, no. Well, I meant Bud Light.
If you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, ask for Bud Light, because everything else...
You all right? Sure, just a little lightheaded.
It's just a light.
Set.
Iowa's outstanding student athletes are motivated by aspirations of accomplishment and success. Championships are the result of their superior teamwork. Join the team. Become a member of the I Club. To help keep the Hawkeyes strong and proud, write the Alumni Center, the University of Iowa.
Marciano, a short return of Lohmiller's kick to the 29. Will the Hawkeyes take over 1st and 10? Bayless and Hudson in the Iowa lineup. The drop by Hartlieb. He's going down the middle, complete. And a broken tackle as Marv Cook caught it and was hit at midfield, advanced it another 7. If there's a better tight end in the country, we don't know about it.
No, there really isn't. You'll see him get hit in the back just as he's catching the ball. How he keeps this ball in his hands, I don't know. But right here, just as he's catching the ball, just boom, right there, right in the side. Turns around after he takes a shot and gets another 5 yards. And he's just a great, great receiver.
Williams hit him first, and then Leverance, the linebacker, trailing the play. Finally made the stop, and it's an Iowa first down on Minnesota's 43. And again, Hartlieb down the middle. Passes in, he threw that away because early the intended receiver was covered by Getz. So he did the obvious smart thing, just threw it away. Hartlieb's stats, pretty impressive. 20 of 25, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns. The interception, I'm sure Chuck would like to have that one back.
Well, it's just a bad throw, and he realizes, I'm sure. But unfortunately, that does hurt his passing efficiency, and interception's really costly in that category.
Bayless now on the eye behind David Hudson. 2nd and 10. Bayless gets the handoff, scoots at left tackle, hit from behind by Trent Tripp. I'm glad he isn't a running back.
Trip? No, Trip, right?
Advance to the 40 where it's 3rd and 7. Ball on the Minnesota 40-yard line. The Hawks with the wind this quarter, as they did in the second. Bayless, 7 of 17. Stats for the season going into the game, 28 yards with a 3+ per carry average. Big 3rd down play here for the Hawkeyes. And they're going to run with the ball. It's Bayless, and he's close, if not beyond first down territory. I'm sure they didn't expect the Hawks to keep it on the ground, and Bayless gets inside the 35.
Well, he's a very smart runner here. He just follows his block. You see Alexander blocking there. Then he turns it upfield, tries to go for the first down. It looks to me
ahead.
like he's very, very close here. Might be just a little bit short. Very, very, very close, though, Gene.
They are bringing in the chain, the sticks to measure. It's close. It's good.
He made it. That's great.
And you need those third down conversions to keep a drive going, obviously. The Hawks got it there on a surprise play. I'll never forget the Iowa game at Penn State, when throughout the game, Hayden had them guessing. We ran when it looked like pass, and vice versa the entire 4 quarters. First and 10 Hawks on the enemy 33-yard line. The enemy is Minnesota, the oldest foe for the Hawkeyes. Hartlieb, all the time in the world. Across the line, incomplete, and almost intercepted. Threw a little bit behind Bayless. Leverance covering. Sometimes, perhaps, Mike, you have too much time.
Well, I think he did there, and then he was trying to dish it off to Bayless and just threw it behind him slightly. But I think he was really trying all the time to go deep. Then he realized he couldn't and dumped it off to Bayless.
Replacement for the offensive right tackle, Ross Uckelberg. Big junior at 6'5", 265. Minnesota, surprisingly, has not blitzed the Hawkeyes that much. We have a 2nd and 10 now on the Minnesota 35. The scramble by Hartlieb, and he fires. Incomplete, but a pass interference call. Hartlieb was covered by White. Or excuse me, Early was covered by White, and Hartlieb threw a bullet.
Well, the smart thing that Chuck did here, he knew there was blitz coming. A little trick up in the line of scrimmage there, and he sees the pressure coming, gets outside of it, buys some time, and lets the receivers kind of open up a little bit. Throws it right there. You see Early get bumped just before he tries to catch the ball. Clearly a penalty here. You might see it right there. He gets bumped just before the ball gets there.
The short receiver was open, Bayless. But he also picked up Early, tried to get the ball to him, and it's a 1st and 10 Iowa on Minnesota's 23. 3 of 20 penalties, 3 penalties for 20 yards for Minnesota. And this hurt the Gophers. It's Bayless, throw set along with Hudson. And the short drop, pass on the near side, Watkins. A little bit overthrown to Travis. He was wide open.
Well, I think he saw something at the line of scrimmage there and went to an audible. He knew that Travis was one-on-one on the outside. Just rushed it a little bit and threw a little bit high.
Harbert's going into the ball game along with Marv Cook. Marvelous Marv, another great day. Cook has how many receptions here, Mike? 3 big ones, totaling 50 yards. Swats left, single wide out right. And again, the short drop. And the pass Early at the 16-yard line. Oh, he could have gotten 6, but it was a little underthrown. And Early had to drop to the turf after making the reception.
It looks to me like Chuck just isn't quite on right now, but sure, with his abilities, he'll come back here. He throws the ball a little bit low, and Quinn Early actually makes a nice reception there. It goes to the ground, but he would have gotten additional yardage had he been able to maintain his feet.
Clark at tight end, as Quinn now with 5 for 92. 1 touchdown. He's Iowa's leading receiver, number 3 in the Big Ten. About a 16-yard average per catch. Big third down play again for the Hawkeyes. Blitz on. Hartlieb throws it in the flat. It's complete. Bayless at the 10-yard line. Hit, but it's a 1st down. Tony White making connection, but Bayless was there to take the strike.
Gene, you really got to credit our line and our blocking backs here. They threw a lot of people at us here defensively. We pick every one of them up there. You see David Hudson making a nice block, which buys time for Chuck to get the ball to Rick Bayless, and he realizes he has the 1st down there, just tucks it and makes sure he holds on to the ball for a 1st down.
Lowered that head, protected the football, and the Hawkeyes have a 1st and 10. Hudson, the lone guy behind. He takes the handoff. He's at the 5. He's close. He's in. David standing up. Hudson from Waxahachie. And again. Again, the Hawkeyes fool them. Good blocking, left side of the offensive line, and it's 30-13 Hawks with 8:03 to go in the quarter.
Well, Gene, he gets the ball right here, and we did fool him a little bit. I think they thought maybe pass was coming, but once he gets turned forward here, right there, you could tell from right here that he was going to get in the end zone, because no matter who got in his way, he's going to knock him out of his way for 6 points, and they never knock him down. He stays on his feet the whole time.
Tough guy. He had a disappointing early season, but he's more than made up for that as Houtland sets to try the PAT. It's an automatic. Iowa leading Minnesota, 8:03 to go, third quarter, 31-13. Hawkeye football continues after these local messages on the Hawkeye Sports Network.
This Ford Taurus looks like $1 million. You must be rich and famous.
Yeah, no, I'm John, and this is Nancy.
But the plush interior, air conditioning, tilt wheel, a veritable heyday of options.
All standard.
But Taurus is the design leader. Cost must be prohibitive.
No, they start under $12,000.
We prefer to impress our friends with style and practicality.
Oh, what a novel idea. And right now, you can save up to $400 on a Ford Taurus. See your local Ford dealer today.
A reminder to America, it's not just men who farm our land, but also more than 1 million farm women who work as their partners to make America's food system one of the most productive on earth. That's something we shouldn't take for granted. This message brought to you on behalf of the American farmer by the makers of Dual Herbicide.
Minnesota unable to move the ball, and Herbal's short punt of 26 yards taken by Kerry Bird on the 42-yard line of Minnesota. Bayless and Hudson, I-backs. The double fake by Hartlieb. The pass near side. It's been early somehow. The ball got in between two defenders. Early took it at the 28. Could you believe that throw?
Well, it was a great throw, but I'm not sure it wasn't a greater catch. I think he was hit actually before he caught the ball, Gene. Again, I think Tony White came up a little bit early just as he's catching the ball. See a nice throw here, but it's laid in between the defenders. Right there, he gets bumped just prior to catching the ball. It should have been a flag, but we'll take the reception.
Ball advanced to the Minnesota 27. Slots right. Quinn, 6 receptions, 170 yards, and a great touchdown catch in the first half. Pro set. Could be an audible. The handoff goes to Bayless. Bayless a tackle inside the 25. Got behind big Herb Wester. Max Stevens credited with the tackle for Minnesota. And Bonner covering. What do we have now for Hartlieb? Mike, he has 22 of 29. Just under 300 yards. 287. 2 touchdown passes. Pretty good afternoon's work, Mike.
He's just had a great season, and it's nice to see somebody who works hard like he does to come along, and he's probably going to end up now with 5 games this year with over 300 yards.
Again, the 1 RB set for the Hawkeyes. Pressure on Hartlieb. He goes down the middle. It is short. He had to release before he was ready. Pressure by the Gophers. Bonner again. The Wisconsin transfer from Minneapolis. Left outside linebacker. Foiled that play.
Well, we just didn't have anybody in the backfield that time because we had everybody going out, and they caught us in that formation with their blitz coming, and Chuck did have to rush his throw, but smartly threw it into the ground.
Third quarter, 5:20 remaining. Iowa leads 31-13, and it's a 3rd and 7 inside the Minnesota 25-yard line. Same offensive set. Hartlieb. The blitz is on again. He has to scramble. Gets it away, and it's out of bounds. Oh, he got pressure that time from Max Stevens from Akron, Ohio, a sophomore, and just did get it away.
Well, fortunately, he did get out of the pocket initially because they were bringing a lot of people again, and I think that's going to be their strategy in the second half. Just don't give Chuck time to throw. Right here, you see him just get around the defender, throw the ball out of bounds, and Travis Watkins was in the area.
Upcoming for Rob Houtland, a 41-yard field goal attempt. Straight away with Hartlieb holding. Has the win. It's a fake. Hartlieb is throwing, and it is incomplete. They fake the field goal. Intended for flag. Thrown under pressure and coming up limping, quarterback Frank Jackson.
Well, you'll see the fake here. The ball's thrown a little bit high, but or the snap's a little bit high. They fake the field goal right there, and then they're trying to hit Mike Flagg coming across the middle. The ball is thrown up where only he can catch it, and it just goes through his hands right there. Did have another receiver open on the right side there, but he didn't have a lot of time to think about where he was throwing that ball.
So the Hawkeye lead remains 31-13, 5:07 to go in the quarter. And we'll return after this message from the University of Iowa.
Being a professor at a leading university means keeping pace, not only with recent ideas and innovations in many disciplines, but also being part of and actively contributing to those disciplines. For students, the University of Iowa means more than just scrambling from test to test. It means learning to keep things in perspective through a balance of liberal arts and sciences, and learning to continually ask, how is this going to help people? How is it going to affect the way we live? It means learning to function and contribute in a changing world. Young minds being challenged to think, to analyze, to explore. The University of Iowa, lighting a path to the future from the heartland of America.
We move to further action in this series. Hawkey to Baker, 1st and 10. Hawkey the rollout, the pass, and it is just overthrown down to the 15-yard line. Jason Bruce, the intended target, and Pipkins moving over to cover from right cornerback, and re-entering for the Hawkeyes, Joe Schuster.
It was a nice hit by James Pipkins after he overthrew the ball a little bit, but just off slightly. And Hawkey has a good, strong arm, Gene. If he can just hit the receivers, they'll be able to move the ball.
Pipkins in at right corner for Merton Hanks. Pipkins playing both corners. Ditto Hanks at the other corner, of course, Anthony Wright. Greg Brown having played at that position early in the season when Wright was injured early. 2nd and 10. Let's go Hawks at the 33-yard line. 2:37 remaining, 3rd quarter. Couch in motion. And a drop ball picked up again by quarterback, and Hawkey rolling out, and nice low tackle by Kerry Burt. Oh, that's beautiful. Shoe top tackle by Kerry Burt, stopping a great scrambler, Ricky Hawkey.
He's just a good senior defensive back that's played very well all year. You see Hawkey again makes something happen with nothing. The ball was fumbled on the exchange from the center. Should have been tackled right there. Gets loose. Then you see a nice tackle right there. Kerry Burt comes up and gets his shoestrings.
Hawkey, 8 letters as a prep in football, baseball, basketball, and track. He can run the option. 3rd and 12. Just a straight drop this time by the quarterback, and it's down the middle, almost intercepted and broken up. And that was Torque Hook. He got there just as the ball did. Gators, the intended receiver. The youngster from Corden broke that up, and now it's a 4th and 12.
Gene, that hitting in the backfield is getting contagious. Everybody sees Dwight hitting people so hard, and you just saw Pipkins a minute ago, and their Hook actually broke up the pass play. So it's nice to see that kind of hitting spread among the defensive backs.
John Gutekunst there, the Minnesota coach, sending in Couch with the play from the bench. 4th and 12. Let's get him, Hawks. 4-man defense here front. We're late in the 3rd quarter. Straight drop by Hawkey. The pass short, intended for Richardson. Hawks take over. Good field position. Pressure that time on the quarterback. He had to dump it sooner than he wanted to.
Well, when it's 4th and 12, you know they're going to be putting pressure on the quarterback, and they did that time. Ricky Hawkey tried to get the pass off to Richardson, but went short, and then Richardson was slipping. So big, again, got to credit that defensive unit that's just done a great job today.
Hawkeyes unable to move the ball. Minnesota taking over in the 4th quarter, rather, and we'll be back with more action in just a moment.
Hi! Recognize this detergent? It
Whitens without the worry of liquid bleach.
Washing whites like this with liquid bleach used to be a real gamble.
Yeah, and I usually lost my shirt.
Give up? It's Oxidol with green crystals with color-safe bleach. Look, 2 berry-stained shirts. Guess which one Oxidol whitened and which liquid bleach did? Look at the faded color.
I'm impressed. Nice whites, no faded.
That's great, Ma. Come on, the red skins, not the pink skins.
So who whitens without the worry of liquid bleach? Guess.
Stay warm with Channel 2 when Iowa faces off against Stanford. Live from the Maui Classic, Friday.
For everyone who loves meat and loves pizza, Pizza Hut introduces our new Meat Lovers Pizza. It's loaded with 6 delicious meats and a blend of cheeses. If it sounds like your kind of pizza, come in and try it soon. Only at Pizza Hut, and only for a limited time.
Gene Clausen with Mike Seelig as the teams change goals. Minnesota has it on the Gophers' 16-yard line, second and a short 5. Foggy, I-backs behind him. Long count, could be changing signals. Down to 4 seconds as he starts the play on the rollout. The pass across the line, broken up. Quast got his hands in the ball. And it'll come back to the 16-yard line. Quast all over the place. He and J.J. Puck, Danworth, haven't seen Melvin Foster out there today, Mike.
Well, he's been on some special teams, but hasn't played at the linebacker position yet. But that time, Brad Quast showed his athletic ability again by just being on the run, getting his hand up in the air, knocking the pass.
Steve Thomas comes into the ball game in that defensive line. He's played just about everything except defensive end this year. Third down, Minnesota. They send Bruce in motion, and the pitch goes back to Thompson. Just a straight sweep, and he gets to the 28-yard line. It's a first and 10. Darrell Thompson has scooted 98 yards against a good Michigan team, and Steve Thomas making the tackle.
Well, he gets the corner turned here, and he shows you his size and strength as he does turn the corner. Gets a nice block here and gets around Richardson right there. And then once he turns it, he just gets another 4 or 5 yards on his size and strength.
Jeff Beard in on that play, and it's Minnesota on its 28-yard line in the opening moments of the fourth quarter. Foggy, just a straight drop. He wants to go deep. He has the wind, and it is no good. Inside the 30, intended for Couch, and Anthony Wright step for step with Couch. And it comes way back. Foggy, very strong arm. He has the wind, trying to take advantage of getting the big strike here to get back into the ball game early in the period.
Well, they obviously were waiting for the fourth quarter to start throwing the ball long. They didn't do much of that in the third quarter, so I'm sure we'll see a lot of that between now and the remainder of the end of the game.
In with the play, Jason Bruce, who got hit hard on a thrown ball right at the Iowa 10-yard line. Touchdown saved on that play. Second and 10, Minnesota. The 28-yard line spin, the reverse pivot, pass across the line, in and out of the arms of the intended receiver. Ed Barr. Kerry Burt over to where he had a shot at an interception. Good coverage of Barr. 6'4", 230 from up in International Falls. Third and 10, Minnesota.
I think it's cold up in International Falls today.
I think they do a lot of ice skating up there, Mike.
I think they do, too.
Not much fall baseball. Torcook played well behind free safety Dwight Sistrunk, and he is now in as the nickelback. 31-13 your score. Iowa had to come from behind. Kepi can't quite reach the quarterback. Fire it is. almost intercepted midfield. Merton Hanks. Overthrown, intended for Couch. Brings up 4th and 10.
Well, when we get pressure on the quarterback, things like this are going to happen. And this is a near interception by Merton Hanks. You'll see the pressure coming from Kepi right there. Foggy steps up into the pocket, throws the ball. It's just a little bit high, almost right in the hands of Merton Hanks. He's frustrated because he thought he should have had the interception.
Brent Herbold standing on the 15-yard line. A good rush for the Hawkeyes and a nice kick, sending Marciano back, takes it at the 17-yard line, hemming up the near sideline and hit very hard at the 22. A little push and shove by the Minnesota player, Charles McCree, who made the tackle, and Peter didn't like it. Hawkeyes unable to move the ball, and Cook's 20-yard punt taken down by Minnesota on the Iowa 48-yard line. Richardson, the fullback, hit by Haight. At the 45-yard line, J.J. Puck contributing. Darrell Thompson, about a 3-yard advance. Hartlieb, 25 of 38, 370 yards, and Foggy, 9 of 24 for 164. Foggy, though, would, I think, maybe rather run with the ball than throw it. Pretty adept at both. 2nd and 7, Minnesota at the Iowa 45-yard line. The reverse by Foggy. He wants to go deep. He has Couch. Touchdown. Couch into the end zone for the score. And Minnesota hanging in there, but there's a flag down on the line of scrimmage.
Well, Ricky Foggy really lays it up nice, and Couch makes a great move here. I don't know if we'll see it on the replay, but he gets by the defender. He's wide open. You see there, both defenders trying to come back and make up for the positioning, but Couch just had him beat. Another angle here, you'll see the ball come over the defenders to Couch, who gets in the end zone for 6 points.
A 47-yard play, and Minnesota gets its 19th point on the board. It's 31-19 with 13:03 to go. Couch, what was it, 3 years ago, beat the Hawkeyes in Minneapolis on an end run. Just seconds remaining in the game. The PAT is good by Lohmiller. Hawkeyes 31, Minnesota 20 after the touchdown of the PAT, and we'll be back with more after this break around the Hawkeye Football Network. Hawkeyes taking over at the Iowa 32-yard line, 1st and 10, 31-20 Hawks. Minnesota scoring here early in the 4th quarter. Pro set as Hartley takes a drop. His arm is hit as he tries to get the ball away. Gary Hadd foiling that play for the Hawkeyes. Crowd is quieted down. Minnesota coming back, and Hawkeye fans have to get back in it. We need another touchdown, Mike.
Well, it's very important that we do something now because they have gained some momentum on us. See the scoring drive they had, 2 plays, 48 yards, only took 40 seconds, and we just can't allow that to happen. We need to maintain the ball and get some more points on the board.
Minnesota with the wind this final quarter, and Foggy, once he gets protection, and he's got receivers who can move. Bayless and Bass in the pro set. It goes to Bayless, finds a hole, gets into the secondary, busts a tackle inside the 40 for a first down, I think, at about the 43.
They're going to measure, Gene. It's very close to the first down. You see in the replay here, fake once and then give to Bayless. He sees the hole, turns upfield, about a 9.5 or 10-yard gain on the play, and they are going to measure for a first down, but it's just good individual effort by Rick Bayless.
Nice little hesitation before he hit the hole that time, and it is a first down. Hawkeyes' big thing here is to use up some of that clock, which is at 12:49. And try to get another score and get the fans back into the ball game and get this baby sewn up. Hawkeyes send Travis Watkins, 2 tight ends. Watkins deep. The handoff goes to Richard Bass. Nothing there at the middle. Tried to cut to the right side where Stevens and Bonner closed the gap. Advanced maybe a half yard beyond the 43 with Harvard springing the play in, Mike.
Gene, Rick Bayless is on the bench right now getting some medical attention. I don't know what happened, but he looks like he's in some pain. I hope it's not his leg again, but they are attending to him right now.
Grant Goodman in at fullback, the only RB behind Hartley on a 2nd and 9. Iowa quarterback dropping. Down the middle, it is complete to Watkins. The 40. Advanced another 5, and it's a 1st and 10 on the Minnesota 35-yard line. He caught that one flat-footed. He was just waiting for that ball. Beautiful play, and the Hawkeye line gave Hartlieb plenty of time to throw.
Well, you're going to see a nice pass here again from Hartlieb. Watkins is open in the middle. He sees him in between the defenders, gets the ball, and then gets additional yardage after he catches the ball. 1st down for Iowa. Gene Rick Bayless is being assisted off the field down in the corner. Looks like maybe a shoulder.
Here's Stewart taking the handoff. He's in for Rick. Sweep to the right, takes him to the 25-yard line.
You see him right there.
Rick, could be a shoulder. Going into the Iowa dressing room. Boy, it's been a tough luck season for the senior from Hugo, Minnesota. Here's Grant Goodman. Short yardage, picks up about 3. Tony Stewart now in for Rick, which means possibly, Mike, that Kevin Harmon's ankle is acted up again.
Well, I hope not, but he has not played this half, I don't think, Gene.
No, he hasn't.
But it's good to get the experience of some of these other running backs in the game, too.
Hawkeyes get Richard Bass in at fullback, replacing Grant Goodman. The ball advanced about 3. 2nd down coming up. Watkins and Quinn Early slotted to the left side. Harbert's to the near side of the field. Iowa inside the Gopher 25. And a timeout. Hartlieb didn't like the defense. Takes care of one of Iowa's 3 timeouts. Hawkeyes coming up to the line of scrimmage. The Minnesota 22 after Hartlieb taking that timeout. I-back Stewart. Behind Richard Bass. And it's to Stewart, trying the left side, gets inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line. Bonner making the hit. Stewart hasn't played the last couple of games, played on the special teams, but quick start. He hits the hole very, very quickly.
He showed an acceleration on this play, too, Gene. He got off to a good start, gained about 3 yards. Now it's 3rd down and 4, I believe, and time to get another 1st down inside the 20.
Clock shows 10 minutes remaining. Goodman in, very possibly, just as a blocker with Missouri. New receiver. He takes a break as Hartlieb drops back. And the pass to Quinn Early. Oh, hit very hard. Separated from the football. And it was Bonner. Bonner's played a great defensive game.
And you see a good hit again by Minnesota on this replay. Chuck's waiting for the things to clear out, throws it over to Quinn. Right there, he gets hit just as he catches the ball, and they knock the ball loose from Quinn because he would have made the reception had he not been hit like that.
I wonder if they had a lateral upcoming after the reception. There was a trailing player, but whatever. We have a 37-yard field goal attempt upcoming here by Outland. Moves into the kick, into the wind. He has the distance, and it's good. So the Hawkeyes rack up 3 more, and it's 34-20 Iowa, 9:45 to go, and we'll be back with more football after this.
There are those who want the gas mileage and front-wheel drive performance of an economy car. And there are some who desire the people and cargo room of a van. And others wish to have the comforts of a motorhome. And then there are those who want it all. The Lasharo by Winnebago. For those who want it all. See the Lasharo at your local Winnebago dealer.
You want anything?
How about a light?
Oh, Bob, could you make that a Bud Light?
If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
Did you see?
No. Did you?
No. Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Outland kicking into the wind. We're down to 9:45, 4th quarter. Outland has contributed 10 points in this ball game. Iowa's leading all-time scorer. He's kicking this one Dead ahead, it's a high kick. Richardson taking it at the 20-yard line. It's Couch. Good runner. Gets the outside, 35-40, and midfield before he's knocked out of bounds. Couch that time, who got the touchdown pass, and it was Kerry Burt making the stop for the Hawkeyes. Minnesota right at midfield on that nice return by Gary Couch. Quick start by Foggy. He fakes the throw, comes the opposite way. Hits at midfield. It's Richardson. Richardson dives for a couple more yards to the 43 where Burke makes the tackle. Fox wanting to keep Floyd of Rosedale, but what looked like an easy assignment at halftime. Minnesota has come back the second half and played very, very well.
Well, there's no quit in this team, and here you'll see the fake, kind of a quick pass to the right. Foggy fakes that, and then a little screen to the left. Richardson gets the ball, gains about 7 yards on the play, and again, they just aren't ready to quit.
Second down coming up. Foggy, big guy, the fullback, Harold Thompson, looks like he has the first down at about the 40-yard line. Kepi and Quast with the tackle. Stanley, interesting 5-year stats. Mike, Iowa's the best record in the Big Ten. 44 wins, 15 losses, 1 tie. Michigan is 43-15-1, and Ohio 42-16-1. Measurement shows Minnesota just short, about a yard of the first down. They flea flicker. It's back to Foggy. He is going deep, and it's incomplete. Couch. I think it was Greg Brown who stripped him of the football.
Great play by Greg Brown. This is Couch was going to catch the ball. Greg grabbed at him, and I think we'll see it on the replay. Kerry Burt is slow getting up, but you see they give the ball to the running back. He pitches it back to Foggy, then he just lays it up for Couch to run under. And I think right at the last minute, you see Greg Brown come into the picture and strip the ball with his right arm. And Kerry Burt looks like he pulled up right there at like his hamstring. Here's another angle you see right there. Greg Brown just pulling on the arm after he catches the ball.
Save 6. Great play by Iowa City and Greg Brown. And we have limping off the field. Don't think anything serious. Kerry Burt. Walking appears to be okay. Fourth down, less than a yard. Minnesota on the Iowa 41-yard line. Can the Hawks hold him here? Big play coming up. And the quarterback sneaking. Think he's got it. Foggy. Behind his center, I think Pat Harding there for the injured Brian Williams, but whatever. Big stack up. And I think the Gophers have a first down with 8:26 to go, fourth quarter. Hawks by 14. Battle for Floyd of Rosedale. The Bronze Pig. Started way back in 1935, Mike. And I don't know where they got the name Floyd of Rosedale.
I don't know either, Gene, but it's nice to have it in Iowa City.
Let's keep it. Bruce deep to the far side. Gators your side of the field as Foggy rolls out, gets the pass away, and it's overthrown. He had Bruce open, but he overshot him. Torque Hook over. I think Torque fell down, but fortunately the ball was overthrown. For Brown over there. 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go.
Well, once again, the pressure up front is what made Foggy, I think, overthrow the ball because he was getting pursued as he was throwing the ball.
Gophers with the pigskin on the Iowa 40-yard line. Foggy coming in 72 out of 143 for 1,016 yards, 6 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. He's thrown the ball well here today. Here's the reverse. Couch has it. Tripped up, tries to go outside, and is hit by Mike Burke. Couch, an exciting runner. He can shoot. Prep sprint champ at Davenport Central.
Well, Minnesota tries everything now against the Hawks, trying to come back, and this time it's just a reverse pitch out to Couch. Joe Mott almost made a tackle in the backfield, and then Mike Burke comes up and makes a good tackle after about a 3-yard gain.
Third and about 7. Minnesota with I-backs. And here's Foggy getting the rush, and he is stopped by Quast. And Burke, big play, a flag is down. A a big sack on Foggy inside the Minnesota 50.
Well, this is what you call pursuit of a defensive unit. You see Dave Haight come in, and he got tackled on the play, but Brad Quast just isn't going to quit, and Mike Burke is just there waiting for Foggy to get in that position, and the two of them make the tackle.
Clip is the call. 4th down. Herbal is kicking, and Sistrunk is back for the Hawkeyes. And the ball goes out of bounds. Ooh, it takes a lucky bounce for the Gophers. Out of bounds to the 5-yard line. Hawkeye football continues after these local messages on the Hawkeye Sports Network.
In the real world, there are few guarantees. But when it comes to buying a waterbed, one company guarantees you the lowest prices. That company is Big Sur Waterbeds. And while others may raise their prices for Christmas, Big Sur's stay the lowest, guaranteed. Choose the bookcase Shiloh for just $119.99, or the 4-post Nassau for just $239.99. Big Sur Waterbeds, America's largest, in the Collins Road Square Shopping Center, across from the Lindale Mall in Cedar Rapids.
Bob Zimmerman Ford is the talk of the town. We're first on first and we'll never back down. Now we're not here to cause no trouble. We're just here to do the Zimmerman shuffle.
At Bob Zimmerman Ford, we're not just dancing. Most new Fords have special low financing. Choose from super used cars and trucks. All you need down is $99. Satisfaction we guarantee. Our 48-hour money-back warranty.
Now you know who's tops in town. See the Zimmerman guys, the best around.
Neither team was able to move the ball, and we now move to further action in the 4th quarter. New Iowa quarterback is Tom Paholski. High backs. Tom, they flip to Stewart. Stewart, left end, he's in the open of the 40-yard line, cuts, fakes, pulls ahead, 30-yard line. Tony Stewart. 3 more seasons for Tony as the Hawkeyes move the ball down to the Gopher 30-yard line.
Well, that's nice to see, Gene. That's just a great individual effort again. He gets the initial opening, the line of scrimmage, and then he just makes his moves. Right there you see the hole, gets through that. Then he just keeps going and gets a block here, makes a little fake, goes back to his left, and takes a hit head on and is tackled at about the 30-yard line.
We have Hartlieb stats, 26 of 41 for 330 yards. And the play right into the center of the line.
Well, it's nice to see Marshall Cotton in the game. This is his last game as a Hawkeye at home, and it's nice to see him get in and carry the football.
Cotton, one of the 19 Iowa seniors, making their final appearance before the Kinnick Stadium crowd. The sellout crowd of just under 68,000. Just under 3 minutes and counting. 34-20 Hawks. Cotton the down back in the eye, but the flip goes back to Stewart. Fakes going in. Tough yardage. And it'll be a 3rd and about 3 for the Hawks inside the Minnesota 25-yard line. Stewart, 6'1", a 200-pounder, Iowa's 3rd leading ball carrier. 61 carries, 273 yards, a nice 4.5 average. 3rd and 3, the Hawkeyes using up the clock. Running at 2:09. Jim Morrow playing his final game. Injured early in the season in the first game. Pitch to Stewart. Stewart bucking ahead inside the 20. He's got the first down. Running behind the left side of that Iowa line. Greg Divis.
Well, Gene, he shows some real power on this. He takes the defender head on. You see right here, he just boom right in the hole. Knocks him back, and what he needed to do that to get the first down. Got over the 20, and we're at the 19-yard line, 1st and 10.
A minute 45. Eric Miller, deep to left side. Missouri, opposite him. And Paholski fakes the pitch out, gives it to Cotton, and he's hit for a loss. Nothing there. Good penetration by left side, Williams and Getz and Bonner, the outside linebackers, played well for the Gophers, who want a timeout with a minute 23 to go. Minnesota calling that timeout, stopping the clock with a minute 23 to go. The Hawkeyes have the ball on the Gophers 20. Tom Paholski at quarterback. Cotton Martin. The down back in the eye, and Tony Stewart. The pitch goes to Tony. Cuts inside, goes to the outside, but he can't escape a tackle and picks up only short yardage. But the clock now down to 1:10. Minnesota, 2 timeouts left, but apparently they're not going to take one here. Hawkeyes get some more subs on the field. Mike Ertz going into the offensive line. John Palmer at a tight end position. Tom Ward coming in at tight end. Reserves finishing out for the Hawkeyes, whose record will go to 6-2, good for second in the Big Ten behind Michigan State, and 9-3 going into the Holiday Bowl in late December. Waholski, Stewart, outside, goes down the sideline, 10, knocked out of bounds at about the 5. 33 seconds to go. And a penalty marker thrown at the 12-yard line. University of Iowa Alumni Association will sponsor the official SeaWorld Holiday Bowl tour to San Diego, where the Iowa Hawkeyes will meet the champions of the WAC Conference on December 30th, 1987. Simply call 319-335-3480. 319-335-3480 for a trip to California, the official University of Iowa tour. Penalty moves the ball back to the 27-yard line, and the pitch given back, and the ball advanced to just inside the 20-yard line. And that was Chet Davis getting his first call of the ball game.
Gee, it's really nice to see some of these second and third string players in the game, and especially in the line, to give them just a minute or two of experience is important to them to see themselves on film. So got a big win here today.
Hawkeyes are just going to let the time roll out. Final score is Iowa 34, Minnesota 20, and we'll be back with more comments in a moment.
Finding the right gift is easy with these ideas inside the newest holiday circular from True Value Hardware stores. This GE stereo clock radio is just $32.88, and this Casio handheld printing calculator is only $19.99. Give this AT&T answering system with beeperless remote to receive and change messages. Just $109.99 at participating True Value Hardware stores. And tell them Pat Summerall sent you.
It's time for Lifestyles of the Original Party Animal with the Grand Poobah of Partyometry, Bud Light's own Spuds McKenzie, as he's planning tonight's Big Bash. His fans watch as he tans his way to party elegance, a facial and massage, and Spuds McKenzie is ready to party. And Spuds parties with only Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
Hawkeyes nailing down their 9th win. They can do no worse than second in the Big Ten. They might have it all alone, 34-20 the final score. And even though Minnesota scored first, had the lead early in the second quarter, Mike, 6-3, the Hawkeyes got the offense cranked up. Touchdowns by Bayless and Hudson, and touchdown passes to Flanagan early, and 2 field goals by Rob Howland.
I think the thing that really showed today was the maturity of the Iowa team. We went behind. They had a little momentum in that first quarter, but as you said, we came back in the second quarter, established ourselves, and came out not only a good season, but this game in itself proved that we're a comeback team, and that we're destined for maybe a good bowl game here in the Holiday Bowl. And you got to credit the staff and the entire team for the season we've had.
And just a great overall season. The final score again, Iowa 34, Minnesota 20. And Coach Hayden Fry will be back with post-game comments after this on the Hawkeye Sports Network.